I'll say a few words on the option papers, okay, which are at the strategic professional. Now, the first point I suppose to make about them, the first point is that if you're looking in general, you should go to that link there, okay, accountancy and there's a link there on the option papers, and on that page, the lecturers are spend about 20 minutes, I suppose, talking about each of the different papers and what you'd need to consider if you're going to take the tax paper, the advanced tax, the audit and assurance, the APM or the AFM. There are four papers there which I mentioned earlier on. There's four option papers, and you've got to pick two of them. Okay. Now, the general thing to be looking out for on them is that when you're trying to decide which option paper to take, now the option papers are there on the right, okay? So you've got AFM, which is Advanced Financial Management. That was called P4 before the change. The second one is Advanced Tax. That was P6. You have APM, Advanced Performance Management. That was P5 before the change. And the last one then is the AAA, Advanced Audit and Assurance. That was P7 in old money, I suppose, in old talk. All right. Now, when you're making the choice between which two of them you want to take, what tends to happen with the majority of people, a lot of people, is that they know they want to do one, let's say Advanced Audit and Assurance, and they know I don't want to do another, and the other one might be, let's say, Advanced Financial Management. So a lot of people kind of find themselves in a situation where there's one they want to do, they know they want to do, there's one that they definitely don't want to do, and then they can't for the life of them decide which one will they pick between the tax and the APM, let's say, whatever it might be. All right. So in general, if you did well with financial management, and if you're going to take advanced financial management, you need to have a good head on you as far as financial management is concerned. So if you did well in F9, or you were confident, or you enjoyed it, you want to be a self-factor to enjoy financial management. But anyway, okay, if you did enjoy it, well then advanced financial. No, I don't mean that obviously, okay. But if you found that financial management came naturally to you, well then obviously advanced financial management is one that you should take on. If you struggled through with financial management, obviously you don't go near AFM, like, all right. The tax paper, you would want to have an interest in tax to take on the advanced tax paper. It's a tough paper. They're all tough. All of the option papers are tough. But the tax paper, you would want to have an interest in it. You don't have to be working in tax to take on the tax paper, but the advanced tax, but you would certainly want to have a bit of an interest in it. Okay. And the PM, the APM, the Advanced Performance Management, for a lot of people that becomes the default subject to do. But you just need to be careful with it. Okay. It's as tough as the other three. But it's generally got the biggest numbers when it comes to people sitting for the exam. But okay, and then the last one, Advanced Audit and Assurance. The Advanced Audit and Assurance is more of an accounting paper than an auditing paper. So you would want to you'd want to have a good basic accounting knowledge. You won't need anything like the level of knowledge you had on accounting for SBR, but you would need to know. For example, if there's a discussion about share options or something, you'd want to know that there's an accounting standard that deals with share options, but you won't be asked to go into any of the accounting calculations involved in whatever the topic might be. But you must have, as I mentioned earlier, you must have attempted SBR before you take on the AAA paper. Okay. You should then, so that's the first thing to consider. The second thing then is to review the last three available exam papers. And with these option papers, be it the AFM, the Advanced Financial Management, or be it the tax, you should be able to read the paper without having gone anywhere near a study text or anywhere near any kind of a lecture. If with these option papers, it's more, when you're doing the exam, it's more about analysis and the application of information given in the case study than it is about raw knowledge. So you should be able to read, if you're thinking of doing AFM, you should be able to take up the Advanced Financial Management paper and you should be able to read it and you should be able to understand what you're being asked to do. Not necessarily that you'll be able to answer it, but if it's double Dutch, well then stay away from it. If you can't make heads or tail of the last two or three tax papers, stay away from it. Okay? You should have some general understanding. You won't be able to attempt it, you won't be able to do the paper, you're not expected to be able to do it, but you should have a general idea of what's in it. Like for example, the Advanced Audit and Assurance, between the SBR, the Strategic Business Reporting, a little bit with SBL, Strategic Business Leader. There's some discussion in that about risk and stuff, and then with the audit and assurance paper. As far as AAA is concerned, you have about 85% of the content covered before you go into a lecture. You'll have seen it all before, but the way it's examined is very, very different, and the way the stuff is put together. But you should be able to read the advanced audit and assurance. If you've sat SBR, if you've sat SBL, and if you have sat the old audit and assurance or the old F8, you should be able to read the AAA paper. Okay, so get the last 3 exam papers and see, do they make any sense to you. Timetabling continues as normal. The December 28 course commences end of August. Format change. There is a slight change on the exam paper, but it's minimal, I suppose. They've removed the choice. There used to be a choice on these, but there isn't a choice anymore on the option papers. Okay. The subject names, I've mentioned them. Okay, they're AFM, Advanced Financial Management, APM, Tax, Advanced Tax, and Advanced Audit and Assurance. It just mentions there who the lecturers are here in the college for them. Okay. All right. So they're the option papers. All right. Any question on them? Okay. Just it is something that you'll have to consider, obviously, when you get along into the strategic professionals, and it's worth an hour's thought, like, to try and figure out which ones do you think you find easiest to pass. And that's what you need to consider with these things. Don't worry about your career or any of that kind of stuff at that point in time. It's just about passing the things. Okay, if you need to study at an area because of an advancement in your job, you need to go and study that anyway. Right? Anyway, if your job is dependent on financial management, you probably find yourself doing advanced financial management anyway, because it's obviously an area that you're working in. All right. Okay, I'll mention the ethics and professional skills module. Now, with this ethics and professional skills module, when you're going to qualify as an accountant, you have 3 columns, I suppose, or 3 hurdles that you have to overcome. Clearly, there's the exams. You have to have your 36 months work experience, and then ACCA must have ensured that you're an individual with a certain ethical standard. It's the same with all of the other accountancy bodies. So the way the ACCA challenge you on this ethics area is that they've got this module on ethics and professional skills. It's not, from an academic point of view, it's very, very simple. It's in no way challenging. They'll ask you questions on it, like if you were out doing an audit, or if you were working in your office and you found in the corner, you found €20,000 in cash, would you A, put that €20 in your back pocket and go for a few pints with your buddies, or would you B, hand it up to your manager? If you say A, you fail. Okay, so like it's pretty, it's pretty kind of straightforward stuff. All right, it does take 20 hours, so there is a big investment of time in it, and it costs. I have a few details that'll come up in the slides in a moment. It costs £60 to take it on. All right, but and you do it directly with ACCA. You don't need to take any courses or anything as far as this ethics and professional skills module is concerned. All right. So what's the detail on it? Okay, this is an ACCA slide. The idea of it is that it introduces students to the full spectrum of advanced ethical and professional skills. It exposes them to realistic business situations, and then it teaches skills like commercial awareness, problem solving, leadership, ethical judgment, teamwork, and personal effectiveness. All right. Now, it does all that. All right. It is actually, from a timing point of view, it's useful to do this before you go on to the strategic professional exams. You can do this ethics and professional skills model at any stage when you're in your applied knowledge stage, or your applied skills, sorry, with the applied skills. Okay. ACCA highly recommend that you use it before you go on to the SBL, the Strategic Business Leader, and then we're kind of saying that the first one you should do on Strategic Professional is SBL. So there will be a few things, especially that last bullet point there about teacher skills like commercial awareness, problem solving, etc. You'll end off using those in SBL. So it's not make or break as far as SBL is concerned, but it's something that you have to do and get out of the way at some stage. So if you can get an advantage out of it, it's something to try and do before you go on to the strategic professional stage. Right? It's mentioned down there at the end that it takes approximately 20 hours. Now, A lot of people are doing this in about 13 hours. Like, okay, you don't have to do the 20 hours together. Okay, there's a common question. Like, all right, and it costs £60 sterling. So it's cheap to do it at the moment, like because of the state of the sterling. All right, but and you get a certificate, but it's worth it's worth you have to do it. There's no point leaving it until the end. And if you can get some benefit at the SPL stage and for the other strategic professionals, you should do that before you go into strategic professional. Okay, there's 7 modules or 7 units. At the end of each unit, then 1 to 6, there's a number of questions that you have to do. The last unit is kind of a combination then of what you've covered in the first 6. But like what the questions will be based on what you've covered on the online course for whatever period of time it is. So you don't need to do any preparation for this. Okay, it's done online. It's through the accaglobal.com website, and it's just a case of getting through it really. Okay, okay. So that's there's the 6 areas that you're tested on: ethics and professionalism, personal effectiveness, innovation and skepticism, commercial awareness, leadership and teamwork, and communication and interpersonal skills. And you're given a scenario, and then there's just a couple of questions based around the scenario. Okay. When to sit it, mentioned that. Okay, to take maximum advantage of the support provided by the module, ACCA recommends you complete it before attempting any exams at the strategic professional level, in particular the SPL, but for all of them, in fairness. So you should therefore, as close as you can to the completion of the applied skills examination. So as you're going through applied skills, you should be putting aside a period of time, maybe between exams. The month of January, for example, would be ideal, because you're just waiting for your results to come out from December and just get this thing out of the way. Okay. Okay. So that's that.